Hello fellow YouTubers, Lionel Gecko here, bringing you part 3 of the Quasar Junk Doppel Extra Deck tutorial. Alright, this time we're going to be talking about the dragons that you can run in the deck. Now, these are obviously not all of them, but there are some of the top choices that you may want to consider depending on what you want to do. So first off, we have the Black Feather Dark Rage Dragon. Now, this monster is a level 8 Dark Generic, and once per turn when you take damage, you can send up to 5 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Then, if any monsters were sent to the graveyard by this effect, this card gains 400 attack. So it makes it easier for this card to become a beat stick, and if you're running an engine such as discarding a lot of cards from your deck with the Light Sworns, this may be a card that you want to run. Now, what I believe to be a great extra side deck card is the Black Winged Dragon. Now, Black Winged Dragon's special effect is that whenever you would take damage from a card effect, you place 1 Black Feather counter on this card instead. This card loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter on it, but once per turn, you can remove all Black Feather counters on this card to have 1 face-up monster your opponent controls lose 700 attack for each Black Feather counter, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack lost by that monster because of this effect. So if you're fighting against a burn deck, Black Winged Dragon will cover you very well. Usually, burn decks don't necessarily have attackers. All they do is defend and kill you by effect damage. So Black Winged Dragon will block it, burn them back, and you might have a fighting chance. The other one is a very famous monster. You will probably already seen him, even if you're new to the game. This is Stardust Dragon. Level 8 Wind, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Now, when an effect would be activated that would destroy 1 or more cards on the field, you can tribute Stardust Dragon to negate the activation and the effect of that card. If you do, special summon Stardust Dragon during the end phase of that turn. Stardust Dragon is also required to properly summon Shooting Star Dragon. The other is Red Dragon Archfiend. Now, Red Dragon Archfiend is 3000 attack, 2000 defense. When he attacks a defense position monster your opponent controls, you get to destroy all defense position monsters your opponent controls after damage calculation. And during your end phase, you have to destroy all other monsters you control that did not declare an attack this turn. Not necessarily the best synchro monster out there, but he is very popular. He's a dark and a dragon. And if you have too many monsters on your field, for instance, if you're filled up with tokens and level leaders, you need room to synchro again, you can swing an attack with the Red Dragon Archfiend, destroy all those tokens and level leaders, and now you have more room to battle. Perhaps the most famous level 7 dragon tuner out there, Black Rose Dragon, Fire Dragon, level 7, 2400 attack and 18 defense. The attack that everybody uses, the attack that you will likely be using, the effect, is that when it's synchro summoned, you can destroy all spells and traps on both sides of the field. Now, for a plant doppel deck, you do have plants in your graveyard, you can use the other effect, which is that you can select the monster your opponent controls, reduce its attack to 0, and if it's face-up defense mode, you switch it to attack mode, which is basically you inflicting 2400 points of damage to your opponent already, or whatever else you'll have in on your field. Now, with the new Synchron Extreme Structure deck coming out, Ancient Fairy Dragon may become more useful to you. It's a light, first of all, 3000 defense, 2100 attack dragon. It is also generic. Once per turn, you can destroy all field spell cards on the field, since you and your opponent can now have field spell out at the same time. You gain 1000 life points, and you can search a field spell card from your deck and add it to your hand. So if your opponent has Zombie World out on the field, making everything a zombie, doesn't necessarily help you if you need a warrior or a machine. Use this to destroy it, gain 1000 life points, and add your new field spell card, the Starlight Junction. The other one is Orient Dragon, a level 6 wind, 2300 attack, 1000 defense, generic. If this card is synchro summoned, Target one synchro monster your opponent controls and banish that target. The reason why I'm showing you these monsters, as you may have noticed, I did climb down the ladder for the levels. The Plant Doppel deck sometimes runs a monster called Debris Dragon. Debris Dragon is a tuner wind. It has 2000 defense, I believe 1000 attack. When he's normal summoned, you can revive a monster from your graveyard with 500 attack or less. Its effect is negated, you summon it in defense position. Now, Debris Dragon is a tuner that cannot synchro summon with another level 4 monster, and when you use it to synchro, the result must be a dragon synchro monster. So, these are some of the monsters that you can use. Another popular one, I personally don't like them, don't have it, is Scrap Dragon. It's a level 8, 2800 attack Earth Machine. You can target 2 cards on the field, one on your side, one on your opponent's side, and destroy them both. A good combo is targeting Beals, who can't be destroyed by card effects. You get to keep Beals since he wasn't destroyed, and you still destroy a card your opponent controls. Or more common in this deck is you destroy your level leader, and then just revive them by level leader's effect. Now, with all these dragons, not very popular, but I am testing it out and it's working out quite well, is the Dragon Knight Draco Equiste. It has to be brought out by a fusion of a dragon synchro monster and a warrior monster. There is a spell card called Miracle Synchro Fusion that can synchro summon a monster from your field or your graveyard. So for Dragon Knight Draco Equiste, you could remove from play your Ancient Fairy Dragon from the grave and your Junk Synchron on the field. Summon the Dragon Knight Draco Equiste at 3200 attack, 2000 defense. His effect is that you remove from play in your graveyard a dragon-type synchro monster, and the Draco Equiste is now treated as that monster's name and has that monster's effect. So, let's say you had a Dark-End Dragon on your field as well. You can remove it from play to get the effect, drop the attack by 500, send the monster to the graveyard. Or you can trigger Red Dragon Archfiend's effect and destroy all defense position monsters your opponent controls. Or if you didn't remove Ancient Fairy Dragon, let's say you removed Orient Dragon, you can use Ancient Fairy Dragon's effect and destroy that Gear Town or whatever field spell that your opponent had. Or your own Starlight Junction and add another Starlight Junction, and you have 1000 more points for Soul Charge. He's not necessarily the best monster out there, but he has gotten me out of a jam recently. I'm running a few Junk Doppel decks at the moment, so I've been testing out new cards, getting ready for the Stardust Warrior, Jet Warrior, and Axel Synchron. He's proving out quite nice. The Miracle Synchro Fusion also, when it's destroyed, you get to draw one card. So you could set it on the field to bait your opponent's Dust Tornado or Mystical Space Typhoon, and you draw a card for it. So it's like a bit of a slower Upstart Goblin, but it's an Upstart Goblin that has more purpose than just drawing a card. Alright, let's move on. We're back. This time we're going to talk about monsters that can assist your field or your deck in any number of ways. The monsters that we have here are the level 3 Synchro monster Miss Bird Closolus, the level 5 Ally of Justice Catastor, the now legal Dark Strike Fighter, Colossal Fighter, and the Crimson Blader. Other monsters that could be included in this, however I do not have them, are Armadis and Goyo Guardian, who are a level 5 and a level 6 respectively, also generic. Now, Miss Bird Closolus is part of climbing that ladder. He's a level 3 Synchro monster. He's 2300 defense, 0 attack, and once per turn you can target a monster your opponent controls, negate its effect, and reduce its attack to 0. Now these are two separate effects. Blue Eyes White Dragon, even though he does not have an effect, you can still drop his attack to 0. And he's a level 3, which can help you if you have Miss Bird Closolus, Junk Berserker, and a Formula Synchron. That's also 12, shooting Quasar Dragon. A lot of the times you'll go into double 5s and a 2 for Quasar. Ally of Justice Catastor can help you out with that. Also, the Ally of Justice, whenever he battles any monster that is not dark, he destroys it by his effect immediately. If he is a dark, the damage calculation will be applied though. If it isn't, it will not. He's only at 2200 attack. Dark Strike Fighter, he's recently come back from the banned list. Level 7 Dark Machine, 2600 attack, 1800 defense. So he's pretty strong. He's a level 7, which has come kind of popular. And his effect now is that once per turn, you can tribute a monster and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the level of that monster times 200 attack. So a lot of people like using Gagaga Cowboy for those extra 800 life points that they were missing. This is basically the synchro version of that. Dark Strike Fighter, let's go ahead and send Shooting Quasar Dragon to the graveyard, inflict 2400 points of damage. That's probably game. If you had a Quasar Dragon, it more than likely is. Colossal Fighter. Colossal Fighter, when he's destroyed by battle, he can revive a warrior monster in your graveyard. That does include himself. Now, with Stardust Warrior coming out, perhaps Colossal Fighter may make it into your extra deck as well as another way to revive Stardust Warrior, just to bring out another properly synchro summoned warrior synchro monster. The other one is the Crimson Blader, one of the most popular level 8 monsters. He's a fire warrior with 2800 attack, 2600 defense. When he destroys a monster by battle, during the next turn, your opponent cannot special summon level 5 or higher monsters. So those really dangerous high rank Xyz monsters won't come out. Or those other high level synchro monsters. Even that TG Librarian, if you're fighting a synchro deck, maybe a mirror match, he won't be able to summon him. It is one of the worst enemies of this deck, but in general, it's one of the most helpful side deck cards. That's it. Thank you for joining me in this list of the Junk Doppel Quasar build extra deck options. Hopefully I've been able to help you out, showing you some or most of the options that you could get for your extra deck, whether you have the money for it or if you want to go the cheapest possible, still effective way. This is Lionel Gecko reminding you once again, join Speedy Steve 2448's Yu-Gi-Oh group on Facebook, and he is now back. He will be known as the Synchro Extremist, so don't forget to subscribe to his channel, like whatever videos he puts out there. They're high quality, completely worth it. And we always bounce ideas back and forth on the Yu-Gi-Oh group, show each other any kind of new deck, not necessarily Junk Doppel. And Speedy Steve always shows extra content for the people in his group. So go ahead and subscribe. This is Lionel Gecko, signing out.